You know what two words come to mind when I think of new Bears offensive coordinator Thomas Brown? No nonsense. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Thomas Brown continues to impress when he speaks, despite just really being in a notable role for over a week now. He's obviously been on staff all year, but taking over for Shane Waldron last week as the offensive coordinator. And he was asked this week, hey, how did you feel coming out of that Packers game? Offense having success. And he said, there are no attaboys in this game. We play the game to win, and we came up short. That was so refreshing to hear because what does Matt Eberflus always say in his opening statement or when he gets questions after these tough losses? He always points out the positives. And I'm not saying you're not allowed to mention any positives after a loss, and I'm not saying the coach himself should have a negative aura, but he should be brutally honest. He should be direct like Thomas Brown is like, yeah, like, sure, we did some good things. Cool. Got some yards, whatever. We lost the game. We didn't do enough. Like, that's the message you got to be delivering to your football team. Like, hey, you got to go that extra mile. You got to get over the finish line because this team has not been able to do it under this head coach. And Thomas Brown, in his first game as offensive coordinator, yeah, did some good things, but he'd be the first to tell you 19 points isn't enough. Now, it's not his fault that field goal got blocked, and 22 would have been enough, but still, I like the way they moved the ball. The yardage was great, really balanced run and pass, good on the money downs, third and fourth down, a combined 12 for 19, so that was all really good. Obviously, Caleb Williams started to get back on track. Typo on my part, 231 yards passing there. He ran a little bit more as well. He played clean. He played efficiently. He played effectively. I thought he played really well. And, Thomas deserves credit, but he's sitting up there saying, yeah, this isn't enough. We got to win these games, and now he's got a big test against the Vikings defense as well. A top 10 unit, really good against the run. You can hit some passes on them, but I like how Thomas Brown is just straight to the point. Like, yeah, we lost. We need to win. Like that, I appreciate that. I also like this. I'll just verbally mention something else he said. He was asked about his play calling, what he likes to do, and he said, yeah, I don't play. Like, I'm not a player, so I'm always going to adapt to the players that I have. That's what a good play caller does. Like, bad play callers, like I remember thinking this about Matt Nagy, just like, hey, Justin, you need to be just a drop back passer and fit into what I'm trying to do. Now, obviously, the player needs to adjust to the system a little bit as well, but it's got to be a collaboration. And for one game, I thought it looked pretty good, but like Thomas said, it wasn't good enough, and we'll see if they can get over the finish line this week against the Vikings. More or less, will the Bears top 19 points this week against the Minnesota Vikings? Type M for more or L for less. It's going to be tough. Really good defense. They're going to blitz a lot. Good test for Caleb Williams. M for more or L for less. Let's talk about Montez Sweat, who is frustrated. He was pretty blunt as well today, which I appreciated. And someone just kind of asked him what the vibe is right now. He said, what? We're on a, 3-4 game losing streak? I'm pretty effing frustrated. Like, I like how he was just like, yeah, this sucks. And if you heard him after the game Sunday, he was like, yeah, we've had multiple things happen in a season that I've never experienced in my career. Talking about the Hail Mary loss, the tipped field goal loss. Guys, he played it for the Commanders. Like, it's not like he came from a winning organization. So a guy like that saying, yeah, I've never seen anything like this before, that's a pretty tough pill to swallow. And look, I think it's just been a frustrating year for Montez in general. He hasn't had a great year. He really hasn't. We're not saying his name nearly enough during these games, during these broadcasts. Like, where's Montez Sweat? He's only got 3.5 sacks in 9 games. Like, he needs to be better. I think he's been good. He's been a good edge setter. He's gotten a decent amount of pressures. But you paid for him to not be Nick Bosa, but to be, one of those tier 2 guys. And I'd say he's playing more like a tier 3 guy right now, a starter, but not like a high-level starter. I do think the injuries have been a problem. Since training camp, he's been battling a foot, ankle, shin thing, and that's lingered throughout most of the season. I don't think he's 100%, and I think it's affected his get-off and his explosiveness. So I'm not giving him a pass, but I do think that's played a role in his production being down a little bit this year. But, he's kind of like DJ Moore coming from Carolina. He's been a part of 2 franchises now that just don't win. And that's got to get tiring. That's got to be exhausting. And hopefully this thing can get turned around quickly because I think this team has enough talent to at least be a team that should be in the playoff mix. And right now, they're just not playing like that. Subscribe and join us for our Bears-Vikings watch party on Sunday. We'll go live at 10:45 a.m. Central Time. Get you ready for kickoff and stay live for our play-by-play reactions and analysis. Be sure to join us. Should be a good time. We'll see if the Bears can get off of the mat. All right, coming up, we'll get into the latest injury updates for both the Bears and the Vikings, including a DAndre Swift update after he missed practice on Wednesday. But first, I do want to tell you about today's sponsor, Rocket Money. Make sure you check out Rocket Money today at rocketmoney.com/Bears. Now, it's a personal finance app that finds and helps you cancel subscriptions you no longer want, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. Did you know that most Americans think that they spend around $62 per month on subscriptions, but in reality, that number is closer to $300? That's thousands of dollars per year you're spending on subscriptions, which, hey, maybe you want to. Maybe you like all the services you're paying for, but I'm guessing, and I think you'd be surprised, once you sync up your bank account with Rocket Money at rocketmoney.com/Bears now, you probably have at least one, if not multiple subscriptions that you're like, wait, really? I'm still paying for that? Or you might have even doubled up on an account without even realizing it on a streaming service or something else. They can help you cancel those subscriptions pretty easily. You can just click cancel next to the ones you no longer want, and then a few clicks later, you are taken care of. Doesn't take much time whatsoever. You can even lower bills by up to 20% sometimes with Rocket Money. Send a photo of your bill to Rocket Money, your electric bill, cell phone bill, whatever, and they'll try to find a better deal for you. rocketmoney.com/Bears now. They have saved customers a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, and if you use their app to its fullest potential, you could save up to $740 per year. One more time, it's rocketmoney.com/Bears now. Okay, let's get to the latest on DAndre Swift. Trending up, he was limited in practice today, did not practice on Wednesday. Eberflus did say on Wednesday that they were hopeful there, just dealing with a minor groin strain. Sounds like it's not too serious, but he's a guy that's twitchy, likes to play in space, obviously. Kind of an explosive type of player. So those soft tissue things, you don't want to turn it into a worse matter. So certainly smart to slow play this thing, but feel good about him playing on Sunday. And you need him, right? Like he's been, we've talked about this, he's probably been your best offensive player since week 4. They've been able to run the ball. They've dumped it off to him some, screen game, all that, although they need to get the screen game going a little bit again to the running backs this week. Hopefully that's something Brown can get going. And the Vikings already have the number 1 ranked rushing defense. If you're without DAndre Swift, and I like Roschon, but he's not going to be a guy that averages 4.5, 5 yards a carry probably ever, and especially against this defensive front and against Brian Flores, you could become one-dimensional really quickly in this game as it is, and you want to avoid that if at all possible. So Swift playing on Sunday, I think, is pretty paramount to having a chance to stay balanced offensively and put Caleb Williams in situations to have success. All right, let's talk about the injury report here. Karan Amagaji still not practicing with that calf issue. Ryan Bates still in the concussion protocol. I think both those guys are out, as is Elijah Hicks. I'd be surprised if any of those three were available this week. Just a rest day for Mercedes Lewis. Every Thursday he takes a rest day. DAndre Swift limited, like we mentioned. Tevin Jenkins full. So, yeah, it sucks that Bates is already out again, but you plug in Jenkins back at left guard. You hope, fingers crossed, he can get through a game. And then, left to right, Braxton Jones left tackle, Tevin Jenkins left guard, Coleman Shelton center, Matt Pryor right guard, Darnell Wright right tackle. It's not a world beater unit, but for the players on this roster, it's about as good as you can do at this point. So that's a good sign. For the Vikings, Josh Oliver's the only one to watch. He did not practice. Sam Darnold was back in full today. He's been dealing with a minor foot issue, but Vikings pretty healthy overall. All right. Predict the score of this matchup. Bears-Vikings at Soldier Field. Chicago looking to snap a 4-game losing skid and get their first NFC North win of the year. So get your score predictions in. Let us know who wins and what the final score is going to be. All right, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. We'll have a ton of videos between now and Sunday getting you ready for kickoff. And, of course, our live watch party will start at 10:45 a.m. Central Time with kickoff at noon. My name is Harrison Graham. Bear down.